Okay, so what I'm going to do here is, I have a bunch of information here. Here's all by cost and whatnot. Here is the quantity of my driver and my cost per driver. You can see all of that information here. I've also transferred some information. I actually also made a mistake. This should be beta. And this should be omega. I'm going to call it omega because it's easier for me. I can't remember all those different values. Okay, so we have been told exactly in this situation, and I have it in the PowerPoint. I think it's right over here. And it tells me here's the information. That's a budget overhead per driver. Um, it's not the right. It's another problem I had in there for you. Okay, so what I'm going to do is this is the plant wide. There's three main methods of determining how to apply factory overhead. The cost allocation. It's plant wide, where you just have one rate for everything, regardless of how anybody uses the resources and factory overhead. Then there might be departmental, which is more than it's like multiple departments, and you determine the driver and you determine what factory overhead goes to which department, and then you same process as plant wide. But then there's also activity-based costing, which is the most accurate method of costing for your factory overhead. Now, in this situation, we have it's three products, and we've got these activities: production, setup, material handling, inspection, and product engineering. And I've already know how many machine hours that the alpha, the setup, so on and so forth. I already know all of that information. So now what I need to do is I need to determine what is going to be my cost. So here is the factory overhead budget for production, setup, materials handling, inspection, and project engineering. This is the budgeted amount for the driver. Notice these drivers can be different. Oftentimes, most times, they're going to be different. Sometimes you'll have direct labor or a percentage of direct labor. It just depends on what's happening. Um, I've seen number of purchase orders, number of employees. So those could be some drivers. So here's the quantity they budgeted. Now remember, this is the budget right here, because you're not going to know in advance how much something's going to cost and how many hours you're truly going to use. So we come up with, well, what we call the predetermined factory overhead rate. And so this, again, this is our budget. And so the cost per driver, I take the budget divided by the quantity of the driver, and I get the actual cost. So what I'm going to do in here for my machine hours, it's 80, 100, 30, 50, and 280. And so what I do is I come in here and I just multiply that. And I'm going to drag that on down. And then I'm going to come over here and see what else I got going on here. Okay, now we have 1,800 units. Okay, so I'm going to come over here and I'm going to make the total right there. And so I got 179,650 divided by 1,800 units. Okay, that's what it costs per unit. Now I'm going to do the same exact thing. And in fact, I'm just going to grab this puppy and I'm going to paste it here so that I can save some time. Okay, you can see it's all about me saving time. Then I'm going to come over here, do this total. Okay, 125, 41, and this one is going to be 175. So you can see that based on, and if you can look at this and you can see this one here. This is one of the largest cost, and this one is consuming the majority of your engineering. So if I was to take this engineering cost and spread that out evenly, I am going to overinflate the cost of the alpha. So that's why ABC is the most accurate. Same thing here. This one actually used, was right smack in the middle. This one used more inspection hours. And it could be because maybe this one up here, let me see if I can find one that didn't use a whole lot of, I think this one used the fewest engineering. This could be potentially um an older product that we already know it's working. We've been through the engineering, we've done all the fixes on any glitches that could happen. And so maybe that's why this is not costing as much. Whereas maybe this beta product, it hasn't, it's not as old as alpha, but it is, it's still been around. And then this one is new. Omega's new. And so you're going to have more glitches and more issues, and you're going to have more numbers of setups, 310, you can see 165. It also could be that maybe this is the product that you're selling the most of. So of course you're going to have larger batches. So that's how you do that. And so I just kind of wanted to share that with you. I think it's a lot of fun. I set mine up differently than a textbook sets theirs up, just because for me, this is easier to read. That's the beauty of Excel. You can do anything you want.